Okay, so as you can see, I have some cards out here. Apparently, my mic didn't turn on. Thought I had it turned on, so there was no audio. This was the first card out. Yeah, I know, guys. I know. The Predator. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Just, creep vibe, right? This was your challenge. You definitely were being preyed upon. But you are no prey. This predator had no idea who they were messing with. We'll just say that right now. And then I had the maiden journey come out right after, number 8. You rose above this challenge. I got very clearly like Aladdin, magic carpet ride, a whole new world. You're rising above this and you have all these Canadian geese in the background here. Canadian geese mate for life. So there are so many other pairs that are learning as you learn. If by osmosis, great. If by directly like interacting with you and learning from you, awesome. Just as long as they are rising above this, because you've contributed your energy by finding the answer to rise above yourself and overcoming this predator, this energy that hoped to keep you locked down. And I'll just keep them covered because they don't need to be creepily looking up from that card. Now, with the Canadian geese, if anybody has ever had this experience, I know that they've kind of documented it here or there, but, living where I have growing up, we had a pair that stayed at our place for a time in our chicken coop, actually. The male had injured his wing and he couldn't fly, and his mate just refused to leave him. She even had another, suitor show up to try to woo her away, and she was just like, nah, I ain't having it. No, this is my man deal. And then we had the Lion Queen. I'm getting so many Disney references here. Oh my goodness. Oh, which reminds me, this is a really good synchronicity with the Aladdin theme, because there was, the genie. Like, Robin Williams was awesome as the genie. Awesome. He was definitely a good djinn, definitely a good genie, right? There's a more recent times movie that came out, and there might be some syncs in that movie for you as well about the djinn. And there was one good djinn who fought the bad djinn, who aided the main character in overcoming the overwhelming odds, it seemed, to triumph, to protect that he loved. So that might be a synchronicity for you guys, but definitely a little bit of the genie from Lion King. Oh my gosh, the genie from Aladdin with great big energy, itty bitty living space. You may kind of resonate with that yourself. Like, you may feel that you have so much energy, but this form maybe feels a bit restrictive at times, and the world may just feel like it cannot contain your energy, or it's not ready for everything that you have to offer. And that may be why, you're hearing synchronicities, seeing synchronicities. I know some readers that have kind of had this come through a time or two where it's just like the world had to be upgraded to be ready for you to teach them. It was not ready for you. So that could be part of that great big energy, itty bitty living space. I mean, like, you see this big, genie in this tiny little lamp. So for the physical, we have this Lion Queen, and it's, you may know that you trigger people's egos. They see themselves mirrored in you. They see what is unhealed in them when you demonstrate that you have healed that in yourself. And they get triggered. And it allows them to have the opportunity to heal that part of themselves. When you are triggered, it's not a state of empowerment. It's not. If you're triggered because someone around you is balanced and healed and grounded and not offended by some little thing, that is a very clear indication how much of your energy is being used to harm you, being used to hurt you and hurt people around you. When you're triggered, it is an opportunity to heal it so that you're not triggered anymore. You can still know that part of yourself, but to allow yourself to continue to empower being triggered by things that are opinions and perspectives of people you don't even know is actually harming yourself. So whether you yourself have an opportunity when you're triggered and you're like, oh, okay, so that's what this is. It's not about them. It's about you. It's about you. It's not about them. It's about you. So if you feel like you're the mirror and people, they're triggered just by being in your space and you're like, I don't even know what I did. I'm just standing here. It's a spiritual level interaction. It's something that's not going to have a reason in the physical. You walk in that space and everything that's unhealed in them knows in that moment that it can no longer hide how it's hurting the person that refuses to see it, because now they see it. Now there is light there. They are going to observe it and want to know why the heck they reacted like they did, because all you were doing was just standing there. And they didn't like that part of themselves, and they don't want to live that part of themselves anymore. So pretty much you show up in their space, the unhealed aspects of them are unnoticed. They're getting eviction notices just by you standing there. And because you're the queen, the lion queen, you do this from a state of receptivity. You're not shoving it in their face and being rude or crude. You may stand up for yourself, but you have a lion at your side. You may be like, look, dude, that's not cool. What's your problem? That's not fair to me. Maybe you need some caffeine. You might kind of pass it off as a joke or try to make light of it, but give them an out. But you're still calling them on it, because push comes to shove. You don't have to worry about shit. They actually want to come at you. Those aspects of them that are now, they're unnoticed. They have received their eviction notice. If they actually want to come at you, they have a lion to contend with. Lions in the pride, their whole purpose is to be the ultimate warrior, to be able to defend their pack from other lions. It's why the lioness goes out and she hunts and she hunts and she hunts and she hunts, because he's guarding her while she collects food for the cubs and for him, because he's built to fight another lion. She is not. She is not built to go up against a lion and win. He is. And being the queen, there's an acknowledgement. She has the staff. She has the wand. He claims her. So when I use gendered language, definitely know that I could be talking about a woman who is standing in her masculine assertive energy. This isn't about gender, it's about energy. I have masculine and feminine energy, but I am a woman. And I am not going to knock any aspect of myself. And I invite you to do the same. We are all unique. And we are all beautiful. And one of the reasons why you overcame this predator energy, notice that there's this conspiratorial smirk on her face. With this number 9, keeper of silence. I know something, and I know you know this something too, but we can't talk about it. But nobody else knows this. And there's this stubbornness, this choice, this Capricorn, Tauran energy, this choice to stubbornly be silent, that the two individuals, this is like breaking the fourth wall. This individual is looking at you right now. And they're going, I know you know what I'm talking about. And you know what? We both know. But they don't know. And the fourth wall, spiritual-wise, when you can look at your higher self, the divine, other divine beings, and be like, I'm not following the script right now. I'm communicating intentionally right now. And these were, this was physical, and this was earth, and this is air. These two, they fell together. So this is what you are going through with fire. You have willed in the winning of this battle. You can see the atomic cloud in the background. It's over. It's done. They've lost. They're done. They're ripped apart. The atoms are like, they've completely been removed from your dimension, your reality, your layer of existence. And you get to enjoy the simple things. And it surrendered to the experience of that, because Gaia is reaching for you, and all those roots are coming up to you, and your hands are open, you're receptive to receive, and these are blooming. You're receiving the abundance, and you are grounded, yet you are above the mundane, which is kind of an interesting, getting like, I don't like this phrase, but anybody who's a Harry Potter fan will get it. I'm getting like, like mudblood kind of thing. Like what do they call it? Not mudblood. Mudblood is like a derogatory name for it. Muggle. There we go. See, so there might be, like, you have to acknowledge that there are predatory energy. People that will take that and like label it as less than. But you don't label it as less than, because at one point in your life, you thought you were mundane. You thought that you were a muggle. You are a magician, Harry. You've integrated your shadow side. It's like there's this very strong stubbornness that you resisted and resisted and resisted and resisted. And that may have been what you were keeping silent about. Fully embodying your shadow aspect to win, to fight back, to stand up for yourself. This predatory energy had no idea who they were messing with. They had no idea what you were holding back. They thought that you would never fight back. They maybe thought you never could. They knew you were abundant. And, maybe they had the thought, oh, it's like taking candy from a baby. But what they didn't know is why you've overcome. I get the feeling it's like you played them like a chess master, and they had no idea. Like, you walked in and you were no one. They didn't know you from Joe, and you just schooled all of them. So for the water placement, now that we actually have this lovely mic working, move forward here. Ooh. All right. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So for the water, the intuition, what you're being open to, the aid of alchemy of the spiritual into the physical. We have the companion, number 39. When I first got this deck and I spent some time with the guidebook and reading it, it really spoke about changes in your physical form, being your own best friend, supporting your body, everything that it needs to be able to have that strength, that endurance, that fortitude, to be able to have less pain and discomfort, to more fully be present with the things that do bring you pleasure in life, which anyone who has lived a long life will acknowledge the power of simple things in creating peace and happiness in life. Like the 2 hours in the morning with coffee, that's a sacred time. The first few moments of being awake, thanking the divine for yet another beautiful day, another chance to create, to write your story, to co-create the narrative of your life with the divine, owning your divinity, your ability to be that narrator of your own life. At the top of the deck, we have the Spider Woman. The Spider Woman in this deck, for me, there's a bit of a potential for karmic energy to be present. And that's because you're meant to learn a lesson to some extent. But at the bottom there is the Harpy of Rave. So we have 3 and then 35. Storykeeper was number 2. The companion was 39, which breaks to a 12. To some cultures, Spider is wise, like Charlotte's Web kind of a deal. Like she's a teacher, she's a guide. To others, she's an omen, a death omen, a change, a new beginning. Also, the fates, like the beings, the 3 beings that all Greek gods feared, even Jupiter, were the 3 fates. One who made the thread, one who made the thread, one who cut the thread, one who wove the thread, spun, wove, and cut. I feel like there's some research to be done there. There's questions, there's synchronicities, there's insight there, because if even the Greek gods wanted to be hush-hush about the fates, the 3 fates, if they feared these beings, and depending on your thoughts and your perspectives on these, like the Greek gods, if you look at like the Celtics, like with like Odin and Thor, like there's connections across cultures where it's an archetype, but is it possible that they could be actual beings that were teaching individuals across and all over our planet, but the people were so separated they didn't necessarily know about one another? At least we don't have record that they know. That maybe the 3 fates were actually the gods of the gods, the Trinity. And the interesting thing about the 3 fates is they were presented as females. They weren't presented as males in the imagery and the lore of it. So they were receptive energy. They were receiving guidance from something higher than themselves. They weren't tyrannical. They were guided. Interesting. Interesting because sometimes I am so incredibly surprised by what comes through for the collective that tunes in here with me, which, you know, I want to take this time to really just thank you guys, each and every one of you, for being here, for co-creating these readings with me, for being present in this moment. I am just humbled to be a channel for such beautiful, loving messages. You are protected. You are acknowledged. You have the wand. Ace of Wands. You have claimed your power, your sovereignty. Oof. And you are a way shower. You also have hermit energy here with the lantern. And it's not lost on me in this image that there is a little shadow that's within the light. This is making space for... Okay, I'm going to use this phrase, and you know, just bear with me on it, because it's an old phrase and it makes sense. And my mother would do this with me all the time. I love the woman, and it was quite annoying at times, but it's called playing devil's advocate. So with whatever path that you choose to walk, having a little dialogue with yourself of, well, you know, what if you go down this path, or you choose this path and things don't quite go as you like? What if? And if you answer that question, well, then you're more confident in the path that you choose. And why? Because you've decided how you would feel in the most likely or possible likely circumstances. It's like a logic tree, like a brainstorming conversation within yourself. So you're more confident as to why. And if you do find yourself encountering anything on that path that is similar, you already know how you feel about it. So you have less anxiety about the whole thing. Be receptive to all of you as you move forward in your life, knowing that you are guided by a true light, an authentic light that lives within you and acknowledges you, claims you openly. This allows you to remain authentic. In your presence with yourself as well as with those around you. Because there are going to be energies that are drawn to your light, and for a time they may walk with you. And they may learn exactly what they need to bring back to the shadow or to heal because they've been triggered. And then they may come back to the light again and learn a little bit more from you. But they come back because you're not rejecting any aspect of yourself. Because you are the Ace of Cups. And your cup is overflowing. There's so many new beginnings present within your cup. And yeah, you see that darkness, like it's so tempted, but it can't touch you. And yeah, definitely can't touch this. That's why you're so abundant, because you're just like, this is mine. And I don't share with dark energy. You can come close enough to be exposed, maybe heal, maybe alchemize, but you don't get to touch this. You have strong boundaries. Do we have any more insights, clarity in the throw for being receptive for the collective today? Ooh, acrobatic, the magician. One, the magician. One, fire, will. There was a time in your life where maybe you didn't know what you were actually asking for. Maybe you asked for strength. Maybe you asked for strength and wisdom. Maybe you asked for strength and a cup that runs over, and the strength so no one would dare mess with you because they would know. They would know. Oh boy. You maybe you didn't know when you asked for this exactly how hard this cycle would be for you. But you did overcome. And you didn't do so alone. You had help. However, you did overcome. And you get to enjoy the peace and being able to give to yourself and be able to enjoy every little moment and share yourself with the world. Interesting. 3 of Wands. I always read this deck in the upright because it's an asking for you to be receptive. I'm not cool with the divine asking you to be receptive to karmic energy. No. So, receptive-wise, I will read these upright, unless the divine guides me otherwise. However, this is Trinity. That is 3 separate trees interweaving and intertwining to create one very beautiful and complex tree. As above, so below, and you live here in the trunk. You have anchored this wisdom and this strength not solely into the soul aspect, the higher dimensions. You have anchored this firmly into your physical reality. And if you notice around the base, it seems rather barren. This was not an easy cycle, but you have achieved this. Getting fairy light as well. Fern Gully may have some synchronicities. The older Disney movie, Fern Gully. The fairy tree that they create has a similar appearance to it. And it would also speak to, like more of the ego, the 3D versus the spiritual, the higher, different worlds, different ways of life, different relating. Number synchronicity 411. And then we have the Hermit. Getting Gandalf. I'm also getting Dumbledore. An ancient wisdom. Masculine in nature. This magician is also masculine energy. So it's choice, it's conscious choice, but this may be like the higher self of the higher self. The ancient soul and like the younger version of themselves. And they're holding this light. They're showing the way. They're teaching. They're guiding. If you're resonating as this, you're in connection with all of you. I think I actually am holding the deck upside down. Yeah. Oops. It's flipping the world, your perspective on it, so you see it more clearly as you create it. The 7 of Pentacles. You have very strong energy in the receptive. You have been manifesting like no other while in your hermit state. And you didn't just ask for this. You created it. You were alchemizing and working and learning and connecting with your higher self as well as, all of your Akash. Oh boy. Top of the deck for receptive. Oh, they don't want me to talk. We have 2 of Swords. At the bottom, we have 5 of Cups. Be receptive to moving on from a broken heart, from the past, from what did not work. And it could be things that have happened in different people and times in your life on repeat, where they consistently let you down. The choice is, are you open to not being disappointed anymore? Are you ready to allow what you have manifested to actually come in? Because if you've had this disappointment over and over again in your life, Why wouldn't you ask to not be disappointed anymore? Well, that's here. It's all here for you. Are you ready to choose to actually let it not disappoint you? To open that door? At this point, you are capable of sabotaging yourself. It's not a predator energy outside of you. 414. It is your own choice to give up on yourself that would stop this. And for my collective tuning in, you have to look at that. You have to look at that. Because part of why you hold this Ace of Wands is because you have that little tiny voice that's like, yeah, well, what if? What if we did sabotage ourselves? What if we did decide not to be open to things? What if then? And you look at it and you go, yeah, that doesn't sound great. I don't want to live that. What the hell? What am I thinking here? Then you're like, all right, so now that I've looked at that, I can fully be excited about what I'm going to write into not being disappointed. Be open to not being disappointed because you already know you don't want to be disappointed again. And you could check off the list that you looked at how things would be if you were. You can say, all right, I've done that work already, so I can't be triggered by it. If some karmic energy wants to jump in my face and be like, boo. I can be like, I already know my truth, and you don't get to speak on it. Like, you know more about what's going on in my own life and my own energy than I do. Sorry. You have no ammunition because I took it away from you before you even opened your mouth. Ooh, them is some fighting words, collective. Ooh. All right, so what do we have for the assertive here for the collective? Ooh. The Ace of Pentacles in the inverted. Okay. So the Ace of Pentacles in the inverted, which is upright, and stood out to me right away was it doesn't really look that different no matter what angle you look at it from. And then the Five of Swords. Where's my head? This is overthinking. 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 Oh my gosh, what is true? What is not true? I'm picking up on not just an energy within you. You're probably like feeling this to some extent, but there's some bleed over from an energy or energies outside of you that are overthinking this. And because they're overthinking it, they determine how they view this Ace of Pentacles, this offer of self. Are you going to give yourself to choosing to not be disappointed? Or are you going to be stuck in overthinking? Or are you going to reject this altogether? Ooh, the Magician in reverse that lands right next to the Magician. Yeah, this is like the shadow side of things. I think that the assertive deck right now is playing devil's advocate for you guys. It's going, yeah, well, what if? And I'm going to work with this energy and alchemize some of it for you guys. Definitely. Definitely. What if you didn't wish for this? What if this wasn't what you manifested, what you asked for? What if? What if you didn't choose to be strong and wise? What if you didn't choose those things? And you hadn't gone down this path? And you didn't know who you were to fully be able to make an offer, and you decide to be stuck in analyzing it? What if then? And you guys are the only ones that can answer these questions. And how you feel about those answers determines where you want to go with it. But if I'm to speak over this as a channel, you determine No matter what angle you offer yourself, you determine if it's upright or inverted. No one else does. You can decide to remain in overthinking and overanalyzing, or you can decide to arm yourself with the truth and know that you bring that truth to any interaction. You can choose to reflect upon if you had not manifested this into your reality. If you had not manifested being able to overcome this predator energy, what if? And if you hadn't overcome it, if you're still in this state where you feel like, man, like I'm not sure, are you okay with this predator energy setting up camp in your life indefinitely? Okay, 420, guys. Are you okay with that? With forever having the companion of this icky feel, of this energy that anytime you begin to be happy, it just rips it out of your hands and then leaves you exhausted and depressed. Are you cool with that? Are you cool with all of the opportunities with this 7 of Cups being 7 opportunities that are not offered to you or that you've let pass you by? Or do you want them upright? Because if you want them upright, own that you did manifest this, that you did overcome, that you are above this predator energy. It had no idea who it was messing with. Own how strong you are. Okay, do we have any other guidance here? Are you playing devil's advocate for the rest here? I feel there's a couple more that need to come out. Oh, they want me to shuffle. Maybe they don't want to play devil's advocate now. Maybe they've made their point. They being, your spirit team working with my spirit team to be able to get these synchronicities to the collective tuning in and just such a, empowering reading. Oh, okay. All right. I'm like pumped for you guys. I mean, yes, I'm not going to say that this has been easy, but you did it. You did it. You won. With this King of Swords. All that knowledge, all that truth, and it's right over his heart. Your heart is true. This is like, I'm getting like, how in like fantasy stories or, lore or mythology, they talk about an individual who's true of heart. You are that person. We have this Knight of Cups, 7 of Wands, and the 9 of Pentacles. This is anchored into the physical. Yeah, your heart is true. Hearing Lionheart. You like Robin Hood, like the one with Kevin Costner in it? Lionheart, when he returns and he basically oversees or gives his blessing over the wedding between Robin Hood and Maid Marian. Is there anything else that you guys want to have come through here, or are we going to wrap up the reading? Keep seeing the image of the chickens. There's a certain moment in the movie where he, in order to save Maid Marian, he launches himself up. And when he does that, there's 2 roosters that ended up getting like launched up too. And it adds like a level of humor to it. So the meaning of the rooster, the crow, it's morning, wake up, it's the new day. It's the crowing of the new morning. It's happiness time. It's celebration time. Ooh, okay, that's quite a bit there. Okay, so we had the Nine of Cups. This is definitely Devil's Advocate energy still. The Chariot and Death. You know, there is the traditional way of reading these, but I'm reading like not just traditional. There's so many layers to this. So what they have pointed out to me here is this is pouring out of bad blood, of bad experience, of negativity, of there being poison in cups, and you're discarding that poison. You're making space for, you're going through like purging and purifying so that the Chariot forward motion can happen after you've healed, and then you can have that new beginning. Move into the new beginning after purging, after purifying, after healing. You are that lion heart. Your heart is true. There's a lot of knowledge and strategy present here, like a game of chess. But you know the strat. There's a synchronicity, and I think it was this reading, it could have been the last one, but it talked about how you showed up as like someone who no one knew, and they all underestimated you, and you utterly wiped the floor with every single one of them, and you walked away, and they were just stunned because they didn't expect this of you. Yes, it is this reading. When you owned your shadow, oh, they had no idea. Like you were the biggest predator in the room and they kept messing with you. They didn't know. They didn't know. But the moment you own that shadow, that I ain't taking this shit. I don't have to. This is my energy and I don't give it to you. You tell them exactly what you think of them, and you keep doing that until you have nothing more to say. You just know your truth and you don't have to add word to it. It's done. You just rebuke it. And it's like you pop the bubble and you pop their balloon and it's like helium, it just blows away. Or you can add a bit of funny to it, because anything that is really predatory and negative, especially in the spirit world, if you do not fear it at all, it has no power. So if you're able to find funny, it completely destroys its power. So with the helium thing, I had this image of like you just being like, oh, well, you have this big balloon and you want me to be scared by what you painted on it, this scary face. Well, I have my own balloon, but mine's got helium in it. And I'm going to just kind of rebuke you and do so as though I just had some helium. And you just be giggling the whole time. And it just completely undermines everything that they want to do that takes your power, because they want you to be in a state of fear. And it's part of why you are the scariest predator in the room. You're that, when your shadow is like that eerie little girl with the yo-yo that seems out of place in the scary space. And because she just seems so innocent and pure, and you're like, man, if that little girl is in this space, in this environment, I'm more scared of her than I am of the big, gnarly looking werewolf standing next to her. Because if she's standing here as an equal and that werewolf defers to her, yeah. That is your shadow side. You prefer to just be like in your innocent, playful child aspect. You prefer to just be in a state of play, but if they're going to mess around, they're going to find out that yo-yo isn't just for fun. That yo-yo has its, more creative uses too. Like just have fun with it. Have fun with it when you defend yourself. Have fun with it when you stand in your power. Allow it to be to some extent, allow it to be in a state of play and watch their resistance crumble. Oh, okay, so, right, so at the bottom we have the Hermit, the top we have the Four of Spheres. Okay, so this card has come out for the collective, and consistently this card is the Divine. It's going, yep, this one's mine. I'm going to reach down, surround you with my light. Mine. Which is very similar to this with the Ace. But this is gained. This level of tapped in awareness, the Divine being able to find you so clearly and empower you so completely, is found by going within and not having distraction from the outside world. And for the top, with this Four of Spheres, this is always, but this is my last sphere. This is my last pinnacle. This is all of me. I have nothing but just me to offer. And yeah, I mean, I have ideas, and these are past hurts, past memories, but this is all I have left. You have so much more than you realize to offer, because to the Divine, you are everything. You are the prize. You are the goal. You are everything to the Divine. And I'm going to tell you right now, any energy in your life that doesn't see you in that light, that you, just you, you're everything to them. They're not worth having around if they don't value you, who you are. Not what you have, not what you look like, not what you own. Just you. Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your story. You are everything to the Divine. You are the gold. You are the truth. You are a piece of the Divine to such an extent that the Divine's like, that one, right there. Surround them. That one's mine. I claim that one. You don't mess with this one. This one is mine. See how potent that light is around that darkness? And yeah, there's light here, but whew, the Divine means business with you. And it's because you're humble. It's because you kept silent. You trusted. It's because you're loyal to your truth, to your love. And it's because you know that you're helping others by helping yourself. You did not just do this for you. You did this for the collective. Number synchronicity. Countdown. 3, 4, 3, 2. Alpha, Omega. Foundational. Trinity. Union. Duality. Alpha, Omega. Last 2 readings have been countdown. There is something that's leading up to, this is leading up to your owning, your realization of its launch. Launch time. Okay. Is there anything else that the collective wants to come through, like some mantras? Okay, well, that was very clear. Immediately pulling this deck. Got it. I haven't used this one in a while. All right. Just grab a couple of cards from here. Ooh, those two hot. So we have caution as you come into alignment with your abundance. But abundance is coming, but alignment. You see these two here? They're like slowly coming in. Be cautious. It's if you begin to receive some kind of insight, or you see some kind of action or motion, or you have a dream, it's like you know that there's just not all the information at your fingertips. Don't overreact. Don't react as though you have all the information until you have all the information. If you ask for it, you will receive. You're at a space now where you don't have to get upset in order for the answer to come to you. You can just ask for it and it not become this roaring lion kind of a thing in order to get the answer. You can be like, hey, oh, that's perfect. You get more with honey than you do with vinegar. There you go. Be sweet. Like, these are cookies. Yeah, if you're sweet, if you're kind, if you're considerate, when you don't have all the information and you don't want to like react with what's been given to you at this point because you're coming into alignment, be like, hey, yeah, this is what I know and this is where it would lead me, and I don't think that's all the information. So can I have a little more? So I'm not left with this, because I don't think that's our truth. I don't think that's what we're co-creating. Beautiful. Okay. Is there anything else you would like to bring forth for the collective here? Tuning in. Okay, pain. Ooh. This is like coating, covering, healing, tingling. Interesting. Alchemizing. This is the companion, the cauldron. If you're feminine, I am very clearly getting belly dancing here. Shaking those, shaking your hips, celebrating your feminine form, being playful, flirtatious, even. This will begin to loosen some of the blockages in your physical form that can kind of break that up and allow there to be illumination brought to those fears that are held in your physical form. So we have fear, doorway, illumination. It's not a dark, it may want to be presented as this fearful, unknown, dark. Well, it's not going to be so unknown now. Taking some time to work with your body and what's been stored within it as a result of this experience. Because you've been working with a lot of lifetimes, and there's not a lot of pleasant things that have happened in some of these lifetimes. Bring light to them and allow them to be released from your physical form so that you can move forward into passionate alignment. So that you're not going to have so many of these like jack-in-the-box moments of, or the time capsules of awful, because you will have released some of this from your physical form. Okay, is there anything else here? If not, I'll go through the whole deck and nothing will come out, and we'll consider this the close of the reading. Whoop. Peace. Someone may be bringing you a peace offering. It may be small, it may be insignificant-ish seeming. You may want some big grand gesture, and maybe they do that, but it is still a peace offering. And it may be something that is seemingly overwhelmingly scary or impossible, or they have never done before. If it is a leaf that they bring you, it is a big deal to them. Do not minimize this. This is the sign that they are owning coming into alignment. Being open to being this vulnerable takes courage, especially when you have a lifetime of having everything you've ever wanted deal with interventions that disrupt it, that take it. And you have learned to lock in being very protective of yourself. So give yourself credit that if you bring this peace offering, if you are receiving a peace offering or you're giving this peace offering, it is scary for both sides of this to be coming into alignment And the goal, the possibility, the truth of what you're manifesting is this passionate alignment. Allow there to be peace through this process, because you are moving into alignment. There's so much beauty coming into your life, so much abundance and beauty coming into your life, just so much. Things that hurt, that were painful, anything that this predator wanted to make your reality indefinitely is being removed. You get to be rewarded now. You get to have the happiness, the peace that you've always longed for. And what you'll have then, instead of just you being locked down and them being locked down, because this is alignment, this is duality, you'll be locked down together. You'll have each other's backs. You will see the whole picture, not just part of it. The disruptions cannot trump this protection. The predator energy has no power. Your peace, your anointing is stronger. Interesting I said anointing. But it makes sense with the hermit energy coming down in. The divine within me, the love within me, honors, acknowledges the love, the divine within you. Namaste.